Hello there, my name is Valerie White-Williams and I'd like to welcome you to my channel Cosmic Splendor, and this is where I get to talk about spirituality, astrology, and how to feel safe in this changing world. So what I want to talk about today is a spiritual practice. I'll be honest, planet Earth is really getting crazy right now. There's so much stuff that's going on. There's so much fear. There's so much concern. We've got corruption everywhere we turn. So what can we do about it? I know it's easy to feel really helpless, very angry, very frustrated, even fearful. But where we are in our present moment, we have nothing to fear. It's kind of like the 23rd Psalm. That, to me, is one of the best Bible verses throughout time because it explains exactly where we are. We are walking through the shadow of death. But we can walk through it. The shadow of death. Key words here. So what everybody really needs to do right now, and many of you are already doing it, so if it's you are already doing it, then you can not listen or you can follow along, but really everyone needs to find a spiritual practice. I teach voice and piano, so when you sing and you play the piano, we practice scales, we practice our pieces, we practice our voice. Same things should be done. You know, we do that physically too. We work out, we take walks, we work out our body, we work out our mind. We also need to work out our spirit, our spiritual self. That's the one that doesn't get addressed in our culture, and it doesn't always get addressed in certain spiritual settings because the spiritual side, our spiritual is within. We are spirit within. We all are. Everything is spirit. So the way we need to practice our spiritual qualities and strengths is to develop a spiritual practice. Now, the thing about spiritual practice is, again, it's just like sports or singing or music. There's so many spiritual practices. I mean, that's what a lot of churches offer. You go to church, you might have Bible readings, you might go to Bible studies, you might do other spiritual things like yoga, which has a bit of a spirituality to it. There's all sorts of religions. There's like Buddhist chanting, there's so many things, there's journaling. Now, when I think of spiritual practice, it's not necessarily tied to religions, because religions do have spiritual practice attached to them. Some have a variety of practices. Some of them are solitary practices. Some of them are not even really, we don't think of it as spiritual, like taking a walk. Taking a walk outside is spiritual. It clears your brain out. Working out can feel spiritual. But when we're really going to focus on ourself, it's best to actually learn meditation. Because meditation, again, we have lots of variety of meditation. There's lots of styles. But the focus of meditation is to discover your inner knowledge and your inner self. And so that's where the beginning of a spiritual practice is just working with the breath. That's just a huge foundation. So if you're getting yourself uptight, you just want to take a big breath. And let it out. Now, the thing about the breathing is that if we hook in some visuals, this mental pictures, like you're aware of getting stressed out and you think of that stressed out situation that is wearing on you, you can breathe in and then you can let it go down. You can release it. We have the ability to let go of things that bother us. Now, what happens is in our culture, we tend to think of like, oh, this is bothering me. I better hold on to it so I'll remember it. This is bothering me. I better hold on to it so I won't forget not to bring it into me. But that is actually bringing more energy that's sticking to you. That's where all that fear energy comes from when you're not in danger, but there's portrayals of fear everywhere, so it just sticks in our aura. So meditating and taking on a spiritual practice will help you clear things through. Now, I have a lot of videos about running energy and breathing and feeling these channels. These things are a way that you can let go. See, what most of us need to do is let go of the blocks. Let go of the things that's keeping us from feeling clear. Because again, we kind of pick things up like Velcro. with the society, with the news, with maybe a bad day, someone was crabby at the work and then you stayed away, but somehow that energy still comes to you. Because we are energetic beings. We are vibration, we are resonance. And so we resonate or we pick up energy. So that's another thing about spiritual work is we need to clean out of the energy that's not ours so we can find our own information. That was something that was really clear at CDM, the Psychic Institute, is that we need to find our own information. And that almost feels counterculture right now when we're all supposed to be the same. We're all lockstepping into like communism. No, we don't have to do that. That's where you take back your own energy. You take back and see clearly. See, that's where clairvoyance is so important, because if you don't use your clairvoyance, you can't tell when people are lying. You can't tell when people don't have your best interests at heart, but we're used to trusting people that are authorities. So this is where you need to clean out and get your own information, and you need to clear out the lies that you've accepted. That's another really strong thing about spirituality, is that there's a lot of lies, and we have to find out where the lies are and how, and let go of them. And that can be very hard for many people, because we live in a society and we want to match people. We want to fit in so we can be like everybody else, so everybody will like us. And so, but that doesn't always make you happy, because what works for someone else doesn't necessarily work for you. And that goes for a lot of things. So we're meant to be sovereign in our body, mind, and spirit. And probably the way that people get the most inroads is that spiritual. So if you're not really clear about your aura, your energy, it can be really easy for you to get gummed up by whatever around there. So having a spiritual practice is really helpful. I mean, it can be a variety of things. Just like when I have piano, we do scales. Then we're going to do our piano pieces. We're going to work on ear training. We're going to work on improvisation. So these are a variety of skills that all go together. So with spiritual practice, you might have a book that inspires you, whether that's the Bible or a spiritual book or a self-help book that you can think about, use your brain to think about. We can also coordinate that with taking walks. So that's a physical practice. We can walk and clear our minds and not take our cell phones and just look at nature. That will clear us out. That's going to help our body. Emotionally, we can have fun. We can do things that bring us joy with each other, with relationships. That's spiritual too. But then we definitely have to go in and turn within and meditate and learn some meditation skills. How to ground, how to run your energy, how to see clairvoyantly and trust the symbols. Now that takes a little bit more time. This is not something you can do quick. You need to dedicate some dedicated time. When we were in the clairvoyant training, we were told to meditate at least 30 minutes a day. 30 minutes a day. And you could maybe, if you're too kind of squirrely, you might do that in 2 sections a day, 15 minutes, 15 minutes. And just turn your in and learn some spiritual practices. I have a lot on my channel already, so you can just go back and look at those and find the way that you can work. Now, another spiritual practice is using card decks. I do that. I use some tarot decks. I also have some, animal cards and things like that just kind of help. Again, I like to use my hands sometimes. I definitely do that when I'm reading. I use my hands a lot, but I like that hand motion that can give you some guidance and inner meditation and inner focus. And again, there's some people that they sing the Bible. I have a student who is an Islamic priest and he recites the Quran. I mean, these are all practices that will bring you back to your center. Doing art, knitting, crocheting is very meditative. And so sometimes the insights will come to you, but we really need to make a practice to tune in to our inner self, because sometimes you'll find out that you're acting in a way that isn't in your best interest, and someone told you you had to do that and you're not comfortable with it. And so by turning within, you go, you know what? I don't think this is working for me. I think I'm going to make a change. And then if you're uncomfortable, you can use that breath, because we are like an instrument. Our body is vibration, frequency, resonance. And so when we meditate, we are tuning our body, we're tuning our frequency, we're tuning our energy. And so it's really important to spend some time in meditation or other spiritual practice. And there's another one I have, it's like a recapitulation, which is basically you do the breathing pattern and you remove the energy of pictures in your mind to bring the pictures into a neutral place so they don't seem so disturbing to you, or they don't, you see through it. Because this is the thing, is that we need to see clearly. That's what it says in the Bible even, where the eye is clear. We need to keep a clear eye. And it's not just our eyes, it's our spiritual eyes, our spiritual sense. Because really, this right here, this is the sixth chakra, is a lighthouse. We are meant to use our sixth chakra to see clearly, see the truth from the lie. But most people are in their analyzers and they're just repeating what they've been taught or what they've been kept saying on the media. And that's what we call mind control, okay? So we can break through that from meditating and taking our power back. And there's more about that. I'm not going to get into all that stuff, but I basically want to encourage you to find a spiritual practice and commit to it, because that's going to help us all get through these changing times. All right, so let me know in the description about your spiritual practices. I'd love to hear about it, because there's so many different ways we can tune in as spirit. Meditation is kind of going in there deep and it's kind of hardcore, but I'd love to hear more about what works for you. All right, take care. And oh, by the way, I want to make sure you know about my group called Creative Soul Alignment, and that's a group for people who love creativity, but they also are spiritual, because when we are creating, we are expressing our divinity, and we are here to create a world that works for all of us without unelected creepy overlords telling us what to do because they have an agenda. So when we come together as humanity throughout this world, and we decide that we're done with this, we want to take over and be sovereign, we are going to change this world, and it's going to happen. All right, take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.